Thank you. And now we'll have the introduction of guests. We have a guest today who is with us, our previous governor, Joy Klein.
I was hoping that Betty would tell me that you had crab cakes from your sale. And I told her, I said, if you do, I'm coming back to get some. So my box is right there. That's going back with me. I've spent 3 hours getting here. But here, what is it? Nor sleep, nor rain, nor take part. So that's the story there. But I do want to take a second to recognize someone from your club, if you don't mind. When we had our foundation banquet back in November, it was a reflection of the clubs and what you have done over the past year. And one of the things that the governor gets to do is to recognize individuals who support the foundation in a variety of ways, which can be through their leadership or promoting the foundation. And Kate Charles really did a phenomenal a result of success for this past year. And so I want to recognize Katie as your president. Outstanding service as a club president. And usually each year the district governor chooses about 10 or so people. So you're one of a handful of individuals that I felt deserve this recognition. So there you go. That I could bring this in. So thank you so much, and to the club as well. You had like $13,800 between your annual giving and your polio. So
Well, I appreciate the award. It really goes to Bill Strand.
Once you receive this district service award, you can only receive it one time. And there are 3 other individuals in your club, and that's Bill and Bill, Thane, and Paul. I don't know.
Paul's probably done here.
Yes, so you had 3, now you have 4. So because they had been recognized before, certainly. Congratulations to all of you, because you're right. It is a total team effort for this club. So.
So glad Joy is here today. For those who don't know, that was a year ago. You were the district governor, and she had a theme of the joy of Rotary, and I think she totally exemplifies the joy of Rotary. And in fact, I actually somewhere I still have the pen. The magic of Rotary. But Joy has just been fantastic for Rotary and helped me as I came back into Rotary after being out for so long, and really brought it home for me. So you're lovely. Oh, and we're so glad you got some people.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you, Betty. All right.
Looks like we hadn't had any cards selected, so we're working on that. All right, thank you, Joy, and welcome. I was paying attention. And congratulations to the club and for Katie for being our president last year. You did an outstanding job. Okay, do we have any happy dollars? Yes. Oh, you're still doing that. Okay, how about this?
Welcome to
Good. Then we'll do announcements while you're doing that. Okay, who has announcements? Chuck had $50. Okay. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, finally made it on Sunday.
on my bike ride, I broke through the 100,000 mile mark.
Oh,
14 years and 10 months it took me, 100,000, 100,000, 18 and a half miles. So, I'm kind of warmed up now, so I figure the next 100,000 miles ought to be nice and quick. I'd like to, donate $100 for the 100,000.
Thank you, Jack. All right.
my leg's tired.
Mark, you have a announcement. You didn't, okay. Oh, we're still happy dog. Okay, oh, we're still happy dog, then, okay. Now we're back to happy dollars. Oh, does anyone else have any more announcements? Okay, now we're at happy dollars.
Really?
No.
Happy dollars, never use it.
Sure.
I'm happy to report that I had a trip over the weekend to Boston and Seattle. My sister came in Florida, my niece from Nantucket, my grandnephew from Boston and his two twins. So we were happy to leave too, you know. What a great visit and good Thanksgiving, so $20, but I can't go 100, I'm sorry.
Any more happy dollars? Jill.
Yeah, about 10 happy dollars. Because I have the opportunity to share a nice concert this weekend. That's coming up on Sunday at 4 o'clock. And we have members of the Shore Singers among us. Jim Rich is one.
Oh,
And
Paul's not here.
Paul Strong and Karen.
oh, yes, and Karen, that's right.
And we have been working on a very nice holiday show and and it's free. And I believe there's gonna be cookies there, free. So come out and celebrate the season with us on Sunday at 4 o'clock at the Palace Theater.
4 o'clock Sunday, Palace Theater, the, name of the group,
The Shore Singers.
the Shore Singers, all right. Huh? 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock, okay? All right, any other announcements and or happy dollars?
Happy dollars. I have 10 happy dollars because I'm so happy that we can celebrate the outstanding, best ever job of organizing and managing the Salvation Army bell ringing, and that is Liddy.
We do have an opening, on the 5th, well, let me add $50 to it, I'll make it 10. And I couldn't have done it without Bill and staff. Yeah, have every slot filled right now and, we're good to go until December 20th.
All right.
I'm gonna get $50 on behalf of the club as a whole, because our crab cake sessions were fantastic again this year. We got it down pat, everybody holds their weight here, and I'm so appreciative of this club and what we do. Thank you all.
Coordinating it, did you keep everybody?
So we're all driving Paul insane, trying to realize the money piece of things.
Okay, detail.
Yeah.
All right, any other happy dollar announcements?
I have a quick announcement, I guess. Oh, next time, Paul's not here, I have some money, if you have your money, when we take it to Paul, I'll do that, so if you have credit money, haven't turned it in, I'll take it today, and I'll give it to Paul tomorrow. Or maybe. You have cash? Yeah. No, I don't. I always take my cash for a check. I got cash here. I just cash on me. What do you need?
You have to pick the clubs, but I've already paid it. So I can't cash.
You want to cash the check?
Yeah. Figured if you've got some cash.
That's why.
I don't understand what's the problem. You want to hurt hit the ball? Well, you're paid up for next year. It's good. How much is your pay?
$60.
$60. All right, we'll work. I'll see you after that. I got this stuff I look for, okay? So you're gonna get your in luck. 40, you take 40?
Generally, John, it's cashing now.
Okay.
If you want to remind everyone, tomorrow night is our Christmas social, 5:30, 8 o'clock, I think, or 8:30. And if you're going to participate in the Dirty Santa competition, bring in a wrapped Christmas present for around $15. But you don't put who it's for or who it's from. Okay, because it's more of a grab bag. Thank you.
Where's
It's
your event?
at the Palace, coffee.
Coffee
House.
Yeah.
Big Girl Coffee House. Okay, 4:30, 4:30.
8:30, 5:30.
Holiday season. 5:30 to 8 tomorrow. Looking forward to seeing everybody. Announcement that we will be having meetings next week and week after. However, we will not be having a Rotary meeting on the 23rd, which is the Tuesday before Christmas. No meeting 23rd of December. And we will have a meeting on the 30th of December. That's when we will be announcing officers for next year.
We'll be
So-
announcing officers next week.
We'll be in August.
We'll be voting on them until the 30th. There you go.
And also, because I was remiss, in October, we will have the purple pinky on the 30th of December.
Oh, really?
Everybody knows purple pinky is for polio plus. We asked for a donation, get your pinky, purple fingernail polish. And, we asked for a donation of $5 and it all goes to polio plus. Last year we raised $250 for it.
Very, very good. Any other announcements? Okay, anyone buying any more Queen parts? Okay, if not, let me get the money here to Joan to count and divvy up. And then, okay, who has the higher cards? Who has the cards?
I've got 2 aces.
Ace of diamonds. Okay, got a diamond ace here, a diamond ace there, and ace cards, or 2 ace cards. Which one? Two ace of diamonds. So, okay, you have 2 of them, so how do you do that?
He doesn't live on her.
Oh, we have to draw.
Okay, so you have to draw another card, got it. Okay.
Very common.
Hey, hey,
Just draw a card. And then you can draw one for me.
oh, okay.
Way to go, Chucky. I'm hot.
Good.
Okay.
And if you can't, if you
Six of hearts versus ace of clubs. All right, so the ace club, Bill, okay, Joan,
You have to. Have to draw from the other deck.
oh,
What
yes,
else do you?
thank you.
It's very
How
common.
much money we have, Joan?
You keep it.
You're still adding, okay, got it. We're a little out of sync here, but hey, it's Halloween. Okay.
Because I'm under suspicion,
Okay,
draw a card for me, just draw a card.
let me blend them as best I can. This, okay, I'm mixing them. This is how I shuffle. If someone wants to do it better, more power to them. So this is how it's getting done. Can tell who's played cards in their lives and who hasn't. So just doing this.
Eddie, pick a card.
I'm letting y'all see that that is being honestly done.
Pick a card.
Okay, I'm going to pick a card. I'll close, and I'm going to pick a 10 of spades. Okay, so the your part is not gonna pick ace of spades, 10 of spades. Spades. All right. Another. Very good. All right. How much, Joan?
She gave me $8, so it must have been 32.
So total, Joan, 33. Okay, all right, and how much goes in the pot? A bunch. Okay, that works, okay, that's as good as it gets today, we'll take it. Paul has all the numbers. Okay, I've read this 90 today, so it'll be okay. We can generalize. All right, and so now we will have our speaker introduce and Michelle, Bill, want to tell about who's going to be presenting their bio today?
Oh, you don't remember? Mr. John McDowell.
Okay, John is going to tell us his bio.
Hi.
Introduce it.
Hello there, I'm John. This is interesting. I don't know anyone in this group except my wife. I haven't made a resume in 40 years. Can you imagine writing a biography? I've noted a few things down, and I'm kind of just going to give you the boring stuff, and then maybe I can throw some things on at the same time. Born in California, have no idea what a Hokie is. But I'll be finding out too. Anyway, Dad was born in Illinois, Mom was born in Iowa, ended up in California. My dad was a professional race car driver. Nationally known with Indianapolis and all over the United States. I think he's raced in every one of the states. He was young. When I was young, it was in the 40s. I don't remember during World War II, but in the 40s, it was like the boom time where people were killed of the war over. And we lived in Southern California, and the midget auto racing was king there. And my dad was one of the very best in that field. And there wasn't a football team or a baseball team, so their big sport was midget auto racing, and they draw like 18,000 people who sell out the stadium on Thursday nights. So my dad was a celebrity. I mean, the picture be in the paper and so forth like that, and it was kind of fun. So I grew up around racing my whole life. And then, and my mother eventually married another racer. So my whole life is centered around racing. And I still kind of participate in that. I've sponsored cars at Bonneville. I've raced professional boats. I've raced Formula Fords, go-karts, and raced a lot of stuff. Not very well. The G's did this down there, but it's been fun. A little bit of my background, I grew up in the San Fernando Valley, went to San Fernando High School. I got a job after high school with a couple of genius guys that started a company, an instrument company, and provided instruments for the space and stuff like that. I seemed to have, when I was in school, I was honor society, and I really enjoyed school. So I had a pretty good background. I was going to go to college, but a number of things didn't end up going directly to college. So I went to work for Pace, and I started designing instruments and things like that. And I had a pretty good feel for it. So I just did that. Ended up getting married. Was living in San Fernando Valley. Ended up with 3 children. Moved to Huntington Beach, which is in Orange County. Started with another instrument company, and kind of interesting the way your jobs function. One company, you go to another company. I went from Survonics to decision control. Decision control made electronics for the computer industry. Now, you're talking 1963. A computer in those days, well, there weren't any computers, other than IBM and people like that. But I started with a company called Decision Control, and they made little logic cards. And the little logic cards, you could combine them to make, some controllers and so forth. And then I went back to Survonics as a project engineer on some things. They built pressure transducers and things like that. It was interesting. That was during the 60s when you'd have like rocket liftoff, they'd be televised. And we'd always have instruments on those things. Sometimes myself, I designed a couple of instruments. I even got a letter from Gus Grissom once from one of the projects. It wasn't personal, but it was to the company. It was one of the 7 most critical components on this rocket. And we should go in the room and watch it on TV. It was kind of fun. And from there, I went over to a computer company, Varian Data Machines, and they started building computers. And the computers were like, the memory size would be like 4K, like 8 bits. I had friends that worked at Rockwell, and they were really instrumental in building a lot of the stuff that put us on the moon. And in modern days, they say you have more capacity on your telephone than they had for the entire Rockwell system to generate all those things and get it done. But so I went to work for a Varian Data Machine, and actually back before that, Decision Control. That was an interesting company. A fellow named Bob Herman owned that, and they were making these little parts for things. And there was something like 100 corporations started from the employees that worked at Decision Control. And so, I mean, not 100 individuals, but some guys started a lot of companies. Do one, hold it, started another one, and so forth. And then they turned it into Varian Data Machines, and they started making microcomputers, mini computers, and they would be about the size of a normal refrigerator. And they really were. I mean, just to run a teletype took a whole drawer full of these logic cards and so forth. So I had a number of friends there, and we started another company in Orange, California around 1967 called just General Automation. And General Automation started with like 5 people, and we were public in like 1970 or something like that. We ended up with like 3,000 employees. We were like the number 2 computer company, small computer company in the United States. Digital Equipment was number 1, and then the General Automation was number 2, and then DEC came in and they were number 3, and they eventually passed us. Unfortunately, General Automation ran afoul of technology, and they picked a technology that didn't work. So once you fall behind, you're behind. So and from there, I went to a company from England, Plessy Peripherals and stuff like that, and I designed rip-offs for Digital Equipment, stuff like that, their computer systems. And then from there, I went to a company called Micropin, which was 2 entrepreneurs. They might have been crooks, I'm not sure. There is a lot of venture capital, but it was a bar top pinball game. And what you did is you split the proceeds between yourself and the bartender. It turned out to be like a Ponzi scheme because it just didn't work. But we raised, I think, we eventually took that company public. We raised $7 million in public offering, and then basically closed the doors. The 2 entrepreneurs took the money and ran. But they were pretty smart. They bought a bunch of video games and they put them around different places so they couldn't be prosecuted for getting out of the industry completely. Well, from there, I started my own company, but there was 4 of us that worked at Micropin that did this. And we started our own company called Dyna5. We were doing contract manufacturing and design. We had a company called Gradco. They made all the sorters on all the copy machines.
And we did all the electronics for them and all the control panels. We designed all the electronics and built all the electronics. And we started that. Our first year in business, we did $3 million with $1 million profit. You know, so we were high on the hog. Didn't always end up like that, but stuff doing business. But that little company, we grew to about, $15 million in sales or something like that. And then we sold it in 1988 and I retired. So I haven't really worked. I haven't made a resume or anything. We're spoken in front of folks, with any real objectivity for a long time. After I retired, I thought, well, this is a piece of cake, you know. Well, I didn't really retire with enough money. That wasn't really a good idea. I played a lot of golf and that got kind of boring. And then I was fairly young, so I would call my friends and say, want to go to lunch? And they would. Then pretty soon they're getting tired of seeing you, you know. So we did that, and then eventually I started doing contract work for different manufacturers. And there's not much I haven't designed. I probably designed. You look at your typical, well, not today anyway, but the original mini computers were like a little box. I probably designed, doing the packaging and designing work on those for 100 to 200 of those for various companies throughout the years. I designed all the ones at General Automation. I designed all the ones at Plessy, and I just do that. I did a number of them. Mostly they were ripples. When you just, if you had a small company and you wanted to get into the market, you made something like if you were making one, I'd make one like yours and then sell it cheaper and see what happens. Anyway, my family, let's see. One of the things that was a lot of fun for me is my dad being being a race car driver. I grew up around racing. I mean, I knew we would leave California in 1947, get in the car and drive to Indiana, and I would leave school in the beginning of like April, and I wouldn't come back until maybe the beginning of October. So I'd miss a lot of school because he had to be back to the beginning of practice at the Indy 500 on May the 1st, and then he would race throughout the Midwest for the whole summer. Well, when we went back there, what he did is he rented or leased an entire resort. Well, it wasn't like a big deal. He had one big house and then 3 cabins that didn't have any indoor plumbing. Had a boathouse and he rebuilt the race cars, things like that. He had a team of race cars that he took back there in the summer. And that was let's see, that was 47 to like 52. And I mean, it couldn't have been nice. I mean, every race car driver you ever heard of, he spent time at that reserve because racing was like all during the week and people would be traveling back and forth. They'd stop at our park and then they'd stay in the cabins or whatever, stuff like that. And then they'd move on to another race. But, yeah. And so I got to meet and just, pal around with all the race car drivers. I was just a little guy. But we used to have soapbox derby races. It was a hill that went down this road, and the boathouse was at the bottom, and they would drive the race cars down, and then work on them in the garage. We built soapbox derby so we could do that hill, and then they would have a pair of mutual betting. The race car drivers, with all the kids, we would race soapbox derbies, and they bet on us. And then we'd have match races. I remember nerfing Roger Ward over the cliff into the water, a lot of things like that. I mean, every race car driver you could imagine. And then my dad died in 1952. My mom remarried another race car driver, and we continued to go back there. It wasn't just this little camp. It was so popular that there was another camp across the little lake there. This was a Lake Shaper in Indiana, where this was. And they had like 6 cabins. So those 6 cabins would all be rented for the summer by race car drivers, and we had race car drivers everywhere. In Sam Hanks, Roger Ward, Jimmy Bryan, the people. Well, you guys are old enough; you remember some of those names, I'm sure. Yeah. So that was my upbringing, and it's just great fun, great fun. then I had to grow up and get a job. Yes,
Did you or your dad ever pal around with Paul Newman?
I did. Cheryl is kind of famous too because she won the national housekeeping, good housekeeping national cooking, Newman cooking contest back in the nineties. I knew Paul Newman a little bit because I would always be at the Long Beach Grand Prix and I had pit passes and so forth like that. And he was a team owner, so I mean pit passes. I mean, you get an opportunity. You know, I sat on the wall and chatted with him and things like that. But, yeah, he was a normal guy.
Yeah.
He really was. He was a nice person. You know, he didn't like crowds. You know, he was kind of shy, really. But yeah, Long Beach Grand Prix. I went to the first one and I think I went to them all until I come back here. You know, just every one. But, yeah. Yes,
Do you repair your own cars?
I used to. You can't touch a new car. You know, there's nothing to do. You can't even see the engine anymore. Everything's under plastic. But yeah, recently, maybe 3 years ago, I bought a Bonneville car and completely rebuilt it, and that was kind of fun. It was a midget with a V8 64, and I spent maybe 6-8 months and I completely rebuilt it all, and then I had one of my friends drive it for me when we started it. We had the body was all off, and we were in this big parking lot. We had a fellow behind him. You have to push start the cars. So we're pushing him around. It's not starting. You know, I had to speed up the timing, so it wasn't going to start anyway. But this fuel is coming out of the carburetor in front of the driver, and it's coming out. He's reading like this because he wants the guy that's pushing him to stop, and the guy thinks he wants to go faster. But he goes fast. We didn't catch him on fire, you know. So we took that car back and I worked on it, and realized what I had done wrong. And we came back and did it again. And it's a quick change rear end, 2 gears, a little one and a big one. Well, I changed gears. You run these gears. Well, I put the little one where the big one is, and the big one where the little one. So it wouldn't start. I mean, the gearing was so high that he had to push it at 100 miles an hour. I was pushing him around, nothing. The engine's, it can't start, it can't run. So he pulls it up, and as he pulls it up, he kicks it out of gear, and the engine starts running because now it can run. You know? And then it's a crowd of maybe, I don't know, 15 people, 20 people. Everybody starts cheering. We did it. We survived that. But that one, we sold that didn't. And then I had sponsored the Bonneville Cup, and that was great fun. We almost broke the record this year. It's a Lakester. It runs a 1,000cc motorcycle engine, and the record was 202. And we've been trying to get this record for like 5 years. And guess what? He missed it by 1 mile. You make 2 runs. First run, he breaks the record easily by several miles per hour. Second, you have to back it up the next day, and he's short by 1 mile per hour. So next year, do it again. So let's see, business racing, Rick Schaefer, Bonneville. I did the Reno air races. That's for the things like that. A good friend of mine, he built a Glass Air 3, which is a single wing, low wing airplane, and he raced it in the sport class there. He chose me to be his pit crew. Now, really, my pit crew duties were washing and waxing the plane. Do not touch a wrench or anything near the airplane. But we did well. We won several times, and it was kind of fun. Yeah, that's a week-long event, you know. And being part of it, you get to participate in all the pre-race registrations and the pilots' meetings and things like that. You know, and you get privy to all the conflicts, you might say, when pilots don't behave properly and the other pilots are really intense, yeah. It's fun. That's a tough business. They don't do it anymore. Rio grew up so big, there's houses around it now. And then they had that one big plane crash about 4 or 5 years ago that went into the crowd. So they don't do that. But that was a grand weekend. Too dangerous. You can't make a mistake in an airplane. It's electrical or mechanical.
So John, how'd you end up here on the shore? How'd you find us?
I have 2 daughters that live on Sherrystone Creek. And everybody's born in California, and all my kids and everything. But everybody moved out of California. All my kids moved out, and my sister, everybody's gone. So we moved back here to be as close to family as we could. I have a son in Renton, Washington, and we get him back out to family and kids and stuff like that. We've been coming back here. I think my daughters have been here since around 2006. So we've been coming back, during at least once a year for all those times. So I know Cape Charles very well. And I've never lived on the East Coast. I mean, I'm talking 350 days a year of sunshine. No hurricanes, no winds, yeah, a little different. Yeah.
John, tell us more about what it's like to race on the Bonneville salt plant. That's what you're talking about?
Yeah, Bonneville salt flats, exactly, yeah. It's not difficult. I mean, all you're doing is going straight, and there's a black line that stretches out that they dyed it. They manicure the salt. They take weeks to do that, and there are like cones. Maybe the course is maybe 100 yards wide, maybe not that wide. I've never driven on it, so I can't tell you. I'll just look at it. But when I started going there in 2013 or 2012, there were like 800 inches. It was huge. It was great fun, and it's nice because these are old timers. The Bonneville salt flats. So I had a lot of people that I had something in common with. We all had gray hair. I like that. Yeah.
So is it like drag racing?
No, it's standing start, and they have mile marker 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and they time you at each one of those mile markers, and depending on your class and so forth. They have several different courses, short courses for slow cars, and then the long cars. So some of the cars now are like 500 miles per hour. Yeah. Yeah.
What's the reason for salt? Is it salt?
It is salt. It's I think the first time I went there, I had a hotel room at the Rainbow Casino, and then I went to the liquor store and bought myself a margarita mix and tequila, and then made my margaritas with a Bonneville salt around the edge. But it's just a big salt, and what happens is it floods every year. The rains come, and then the rains recede and just leaves the salt. It used to be a big, thick base of salt, but they remove salt every year. Different companies do, so that the base of the salt is much thinner now. That's probably not going to happen much longer.
That prevents fires or something like that? Or people will use it, or?
They use it, they use it for whatever you need salt. It's good salt. You could use it on your sidewalk. You could use whatever it's like that. Yes. Water purification, something like that. I'm not sure where what people that take it off the salt, what they do with it. I just know they take it. Yes.
So is the appeal for racing that it's just flat and it's hard to.
Well, it's an opportunity to set a world record. It's for the to go as fast as you possibly can. And it's the only place in the United States that has that capability. And the salt is kind of nice because it's sort of slippery. It captioned one of my friends. Well, the difference between dirt. There's a area around Victorville, California, called El Mirage, and it's dirt, and they do the same thing on dirt, although it's not as long. Well, if you slide sideways on dirt, the friction is such that you're probably gonna catch and tumble. On Bonneville on the salt, if you get sideways, it's so kind of slick, you just sort of slide to a stop. So it's a little safer, as long as you don't, do something to upset the car, it's kind of like being on ice. You like that? Yeah. Yes.
I don't understand the 5 individual mile markers, so do they not race 100 miles?
No,
They do it.
it's just speed. They start from standing start, they accelerate as fast as they can, and they reach a top speed. And the top speed will be, they have a speed at, they can measure it at 1 mile, 2 miles, 3 miles, 4 miles, and 5 miles. And then it's no more. Then you coast to a stop. You pull your parachute to slow you down and pull off the side
And they record the highest speed that vehicle made.
on that run. Yeah, on that run. And then if you set a record, you come back, you go to impound and come back the next day and try and back it up within 10% or something like that. But yeah, it's hard to see anything because spectators are probably at least a quarter of a mile from the track. You don't want to get too close to them. So, and they go by pretty fast. Yeah, it was fun. I don't know. I've done just about everything in my life I could probably want to do. We've done travel, we've done stuff like that. It's great fun. It's a pleasure to be here actually in Cape Charles. I mean, it's a unique experience for us, plus with the family. This is an unusual group too. I really appreciate you. A very sophisticated group of people.
We can take that mini away.
That's kind of my bio. I just a rotten kid and grew up and got lucky and married a wonderful woman and have some great kids. Great friends. I do miss all my friends in California. That's it. So, but you got Facebook. We went back once and had a big party, but we've had them come out. But I don't think it's tough to get into Norfolk again. Anyway, that's it. That's wow. That's nice.
Thank you, Joanne. Thank you, Cheryl. This has been interesting, outstanding. And you just think they're just average people walking around here, but like I said, we're a bunch of unique people here, and so we're learning a little bit more about each of us. And thank you for sharing your life experiences with us. That revved me up for the day. And so, does anyone else have any other announcements? We want to say thank you, John. That was outstanding, and it helped us to get to know you a lot better.
Have a work call at the next one.
No problem. Enjoy. Thank you, Mike. Have a good day. So, thank you again for being a member and for thinking of coming here and being here on Eastern Shore. We're proud to have you as a member of our group. Okay, so you all can be unique together. Okay. Does anyone else have any announcements? Don't forget, the only time we don't have a meeting this month is Tuesday, December 23rd, which is just before Christmas. Okay? We have to, every other Tuesday we have a meeting. And so we can stand, hey, Cheryl?
I go to the coffee house on
Tomorrow.
What time should we get there?
4:30.
5:30. Starts at 5:30.
Yeah,
So
we'll probably start serving around 5:45, so try to be there between close to 5:30 if you can.
okay. All right, thank you.
All right. 5:30. Coffee house, hey Charles. Okay? All right, when to stand and say we don't have enough there, say, for troops. We're changed on the field, thank you. A Christmas tree. We're Christmas, okay. Okay, first. Stan?
Will we have fun?
We will. Thank you. Happy holidays, everybody. See you next week.